It's been intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually very interesting day. I think we have been going through a path, and of course everybody has its own path, but we have been also on a collective path to something. And I felt first that it's kind of impossible to capture what has happened, but I give you just my interpretation of that. First, I think we set up the journey to understand what is the spirituality in today's science, research, but education. And I think the first sort of observation that came to me was that when we're talking about external world, we see a lot of connections, we see a lot of systems, we also see a lot of facts. But then there is this internal perception and observation. And we should somehow feel like and see that these are alike. These are our capabilities, which actually need to unite. Because they are complementary. They touches the reality from different aspects. And I think we are, in our science and research, being quite a lot obsessed on these external observations, which has been very much needed. And now there is a feeling that we need to complement that with internal perception. And I think many people, but maybe Tony in particular, was talking about that this wonderful medium or a tool called intuition that we have in ourselves, inbuilt in every human being, how much we are aware of how we use that. How do we consciously make use of that great capability that's built in ourselves? So that's like a first observation. And then gave another one which had this form like the spiritual world is a reality by itself. So it's not that it's something which is apart. It doesn't mean that, but it means that it's a reality. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And it actually somehow unites this external and internal perception that I was implying in my first case. But none of this become true unless we have a kind of a third element there, which I simply say something as love. Because love can be interpreted as curiosity. It's curiosity to go and find out something and get something. And so we have these wonderful experiences of doing something together, co-creation. And that is somehow our method of searching things. Again, if you take the long view, we as human beings on Earth, we have always progressed through communication in terms of quantity and in terms of quality. Sometimes we are more on the quantity side, and then we switch more into quality side. But it's that type of progress. And so if we are asking ourselves that, how do we make that search in the next phase happen in such a way that we find those true human qualities expressed ultimately as spirituality, then we can sort of confirm ourselves that we are on the right path. And so that practical wisdom, this phronesis, which you, Markku, so nicely brought up, it really crystallized this all. And it's wonderful to think about that this is actually practical wisdom, that we become wise in how we do things. And that's the practicality of that. And it sort of unites those realms. When you were also referring to that, it's almost like a paradox. But it's also a paradox because we have thought, maybe previously, that they are so wide apart, whereas they, in reality, they are nicely united. So I think that was my effort to capture, but I think there was a huge amount of stuff that was left out. But I think we need to thank everybody who was here and contributing in all possible ways. Just to be present is also a good contribution. This is a wonderful kind of a platform now to continue our ever-ceasing quest on this topic. So, particularly Markku, you as an organizer, a key organizer, I think we need to give you a very warm hand. Thank you.
Key committee member here, organizer.